Just tuning in on the podcast version, I am being joined by the Octopus, the mascot of the Detroit Red Wings. He's joining me here as we look back on day one of the Takeover Weekend for the PWHL, which of course was in Detroit and Pittsburgh. So this show we're going to be talking about Detroit, which of course featured PWHL Ottawa and PWHL Boston. And I gotta say, Detroit, you showed out. You really, really showed out for this game. Amazing work. I mean, you really showed that there is interest in other markets for this league. Obviously, right now, I'm not in the mood to talk expanding the league. I think we need to focus on growing it first. If that means we have like 5 years, 6 years with just these 16s, fair dues. Okay, I'm all about growing the league right now, not expanding it. But Detroit, I think you have showed us that you're keen, you're interested in it. You did better than Pittsburgh did the next day, but that would be for next time. Ow. I get to shame Iceberg. Anyway, but Detroit, you did absolutely really amazing. You even broke the record for women's hockey in the US, because as you all know, obviously originally that the record for the biggest crowd was in our home opener against Montreal back at the start of the year. Then when Toronto did the Battle of the Bay with Montreal, they then took it and they made that the overall record and the record in Canada, which meant that we still had the record for the biggest attendance in the US, and then Detroit here took it from us only by a couple hundred more. But yeah, there were 13,736 fans in the building, which is a new record for professional women's hockey in the United States. Which of course mark passes the previous record, which was also set in the PHL this season, which of course was our home opener against Montreal on January 6th, where that was 13,316. So that's a margin of, let me just do the maths, not that big of a margin, but actually, did they just take it from us? Okay, give me 2 seconds. So, going to do 736 minus 316. So it edges out by 420 spectators more. But yeah. But really well done there, Detroit, to show that you were keen in this. And this just didn't this didn't feel like, of the 2 Takeover weekend games, this one didn't feel like it was a neutral site game. This felt like we were testing the market to see if Detroit could potentially house a team. I mean, right now I'm not interested in talk expansion, but I kind of felt of the 2, this was the one that kind of showed me that there's interest for PHL hockey in Detroit. That's what it felt to me. It didn't feel like a neutral site game. It felt like testing the market out, and I think Detroit passed with flying colours. So let's talk through the game itself. So we had PWHL Ottawa taking on PWHL Boston. Boston were made the designated home team. And oh my, did Detroit get its money's worth. As Harry Knight scored her 4th goal to save the season, along with the shootout winner, the tightly contested matchup against Ottawa at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit on Saturday, as Boston took it 2-1. So the mentioned Powerhouse, obviously you broke the record for the most fans in the US. So Knight gave Boston an early 1-0 lead, just 3:05 into the game, after line mate Hannah Bratt won an offensive zone face-off. Brandt won the draw forward between the Ottawa centre's legs, stepping around the player before continuing with the puck around the net. She then fed defender Megan Keller, who one-timed the puck on net. The rebound ended up in traffic in the crease, which Knight pounced on to give her team the early advantage. So after the game went to a shootout, it was once again Knight who found the back of the net, tallying the shootout winner for her team. Boston's captain utilised her world-class shot to blast the puck upstairs past Ottawa netminder Erin Matchaminer. For the second time in the game, Ramp was the only other Boston player to score in the shootout. Aaron Frankel stopped 4 of 5 Ottawa attempts, with Katarina Mrazova scoring the only shootout goal for Ottawa in the shootout. Ottawa forward Emily Clark got on the board in regulation time, tying the game at 1-1 at 15:20 of the first period. And then basically after that, that was all she wrote to her score. It was a very kind of back and forth, tightly fought contest. The unassisted tally was Clark's third of the year and was scored on the team's first power play opportunity of the game. Clark started and finished the play after she muscled the puck off Keller before wiring a shot top of corner past Franco. The game was even throughout, as I said, because obviously both these teams, they are really fighting. The camera. Honestly. Al, you're not camera trained. Honestly. I know a Sharky and Polar Bear that are, but you're clearly not camera trained. Honestly, just face the camera and sit still. Honestly, just you have to work with. What was I? Yeah, so the game was a bit even throughout, with shots ending up tied 26 apiece. Ottawa hit several posts throughout the game, most prominently with just 33 seconds left in overtime when Captain Brianne Jenner seemed to have Frankel beaten but hit the iron, which kept the game at 1-1. Both Frankel and McNamara made 25 saves in the game. By earning the 2 points for the shootout victory, Boston moved 1 point ahead of Ottawa, who secured the 1 point in that loss in the standings and now sits in sole position of 4th place. Because it's very tight between Boston and Ottawa between that last playoff spot. Ottawa seems to be now finding a groove. But yeah, it's really, really tight. Really, really tight there for 4th place. It really is. So that's going to be interesting. So obviously that is the first of PWHL Takeover Weekend. With game 2 to take place the next day at PWHL Arena in Pittsburgh between Montreal and Toronto. Toronto being Boston's next opponent, as they would go on to Matinee Athletic Center on Wednesday, March 20th. And that same evening, Ottawa would hit the road to take on New York at Bridgeport's Total Mortgage Arena. Let me go through some of the post-game quotes and notes for you, seeing as it's a very special game. Let's go through the quotes first. So this is what Boston defender Megan Keller, who was a Michigan native on playing at home, exceeded their expectations. It was pretty special to play in front of this crowd. They were loud all night, especially coming home to Michigan and bringing the PWHL here is awesome to be a part of, and hopefully it's not the last time that we're playing there. Hopefully there were a lot of young girls in the crowd here tonight, and now they have something to look forward to and look up to once they're our age. Boston head coach Courtney Castle on the mindset going into overtime. They were playing a pretty physical game, and I think at the end of the third, we kind of just allowed them to play physical. Heading into overtime, it was making sure we matched their energy, trying to get good changes and catch them tired. You saw some back and forth, really huge chances as in the 3-on-3. So I think we were lucky to get away into the shootout. Then it was just great to put that away. That's Boston. Here's some quotes from Ottawa. So Ottawa captain Brian Jenna on the atmosphere. That was awesome. Coming to Detroit, the fans were so loud. We gave them a real exciting game. Obviously, it was a great experience to play in front of them. And our head coach, carrier Matt McLeod, said on the outcome, every game is a big game. That's the joy of this league. It was a great effort. It was back and forth. We had our chances. We're working to find a way when the time comes, but this isn't a setback. This is part of getting better and building. The momentum that we've had in the last 3, 4 or 5 games is noticeable. There's no doubt in our minds that we will continue to do what we are doing. We will be able to read the results a little bit better. Before I go through your notes from this game. Ow! Camera's that way. Bloody hell. I don't want to imagine what iceberg's going to be on the next show. Bloody hell. Ow, the camera is that way. It's not over there. It's over there. Right? Keep looking. You've not got much long to go. Right, let's go for the game notes. So the tales we mentioned, obviously, 30,736 at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. The 3 stars were the first star, Harry Knight, second star, Aaron Frankel, and the third star, Emily Clark. Shots aired 26 apiece, with Boston having the edge in the first, 11-10, and the third, 7-5. Shots were even that second period, 7 apiece, but Ottawa had the advantage in overtime, 4-1. Darryl Watt for Ottawa led all players with 5 shots on goal. Teammate Savannah Harmon finished second with 4. 4 Boston players finished with 3 shots each. Knight, Megan McKellar, and Jess Healy and Cesar Tapani, the most on the team. Boston was 0-3 in the power play, while Ottawa was 1-2. No jailbreak goals from either side. Oh, it's a real shame. I was hoping one of these takeovers would get a jailbreak goal, but alas. Ottawa scored a power play goal for the 3rd straight game, improving their league best power play to 14 goals and a conversion percentage of 28.6%. Boston is now perfect 6-for-6 when scoring first in the game. It's also the first game of the PWHL season without any goals in the second and third periods. Boston has now won 6 of 9 games decided by 1 goal. Ottawa has yet to win a 1-goal game in 9 such contests. Also, Ottawa has been playing them all year. They've yet to win in extra time. I mean, Ottawa has had so many games go to overtime and the shootout, which is good for picking up points, but not if you can't then finish the deal. Steal the deal. You know what I mean? Getting tongue-tied there. Yeah, so they're now 0-for-6 in overtime or shootout games this season, including one against Minnesota. Back at the start of the month. This is Boston's first shootout of the season. They were the only PWHL team without a shootout game prior to tonight's contest. Megan Heller's first period assist was her first point since February 21. Also against Ottawa, she remains in second place in the PWHL in scoring among defenders with 11 points. Keller has recorded at least 8 points in each of Boston's games against Ottawa this season. She's now 5 assists against Ottawa in 4 games played. Emily Clark is now second in team scoring with 10 points. Katarina Morozova leads Ottawa with 13 points. Despite a shootout goal, Morozova's point streak comes to an end at 6 games. 4 goals, 6 assists. I will count the shootout goal. Why do we not count the shootout goal? Never mind. Franco records her 5th win of the season, tied with 5 other netminders for 3rd most in the PWHL. Only our Minnesota's Nicole Hensley with 6 and Toronto's Kristen Campbell with 11 have more. Boston has 22 points now on the season, 1 ahead of Ottawa, 21 and 5 up on New York for 4th place. They are 8 points behind Toronto and Montreal, and 11 behind 1st place Minnesota. Ottawa sits 1 point behind Boston for 4th place and 4 ahead of New York. All 3 teams have played 17 games. And that completes the notes from this game. Alright, so there you go. So that is your roundup of the PWHL Takeover game in Detroit. Like I say, once again, Detroit, you came out. You really did show us that you are interested. You did. It wasn't just like a neutral site game between Boston and Ottawa. It really felt like we were testing out the market. And Detroit, you showed out. You really did. You did yourselves proud. Still think though you will be having a team full time. You need to do a bit more than this one game to prove to me that you deserve a team. But you could be in the list when we get to that conversation one day. Just not right now. Right. I would say thank you, Al, for joining us, but you've been a menace. You have. Don't look at me like that now. You've been an absolute pain. You're clearly not camera trained. Ugh. Anyway. Anyhow, oh god. Anyway, anyhow. Yeah, it's lovely to have you company though, even though you were pest. There you go. But that rounds up. Looking back on PWHL Takeover in Detroit, which saw Boston win 2-1 in the shootout.